Hey, team no days off. The reason why you're not making progress is because you're on team no days off. If you want to make progress, it's not about how hard you can run yourself in the ground. It's about how hard can you push, but how much harder can you recover? And if you're allowing recovery to take place. In today's video, I want to discuss how doing more could be the thing that's actually stopping your progress. Now, when it comes to the amount of gas we have in our car, we already know how far that car can take us with how much gas we have in the gas tank. When the gas tank is on E, we already know it's empty. We know it's not going to take us anywhere. And the same thing applies to our body and to our progress. If we are completely empty because we're not experiencing any form of recovery, for some reason, we tend to think that we can outwork ourselves and outwork our body and still make that progress. But one thing that you have to understand is at the end of the day, your body is always going to win. You cannot outwork human physiology. The equation's very simple here. No recovery equals no progress. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how big of a calorie deficit you're in. It doesn't matter that you're training 7 days a week. It doesn't matter how much cardio or the type of cardio that you're doing. It doesn't matter what supplements you're taking. If you are not properly recovering, you're not going to make progress. And you cannot outwork the physiological defense systems that our body has in place when it feels threatened. And you're not going to make progress once this stuff happens. So what I have here is I have a chart, cause and effect. What's important to understand here is for every action, there's either a positive or negative reaction. And this is within everything that we do. But in this type of situation, with having the more mentality, doing more, it's causing more issues than what it is good when it comes to making progress. So with the more mentality and always thinking you got to do more, it's going to increase your risk of injury. It's also going to decrease your performance within the gym. It's also going to increase cortisol and leave cortisol high until you finally learn that recovery is key to progress. Once cortisol is high and it is staying high because you're not allowing recovery to take place, you're going to experience a whole bunch of negative effects because it's all one big domino effect. For the males out there and even the females out there, it can cause low testosterone levels. When we have low testosterone levels, we don't feel our best self, whether you're male or female. And it's also going to decrease our rate of recovery. Having high cortisol and having it stay high because we're not recovering is also going to cause poor sleep patterns. So we're going to have a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep if cortisol is staying up. And because of having poor sleep patterns, it's going to decrease our immune system. So it's going to increase our chances of getting sick or maybe not overcoming a sickness that we have. Another thing is that always having high cortisol is going to impact our adrenal health. So our adrenals are responsible for the secretion of cortisol and also the hormone progesterone. And if cortisol is constantly staying elevated, that means that the adrenals are constantly secreting cortisol. And also, it's going to suppress our progesterone. And for the ladies out there, if that is the case, guess what? Having a decrease in our progesterone levels, you're automatically estrogen dominant now. And that's a whole problem within itself. Another thing that having high cortisol is going to cause is a decrease in our thyroid function. When we have a decrease in our thyroid function, it could lead to unexplained weight gain. It can also lead to gut issues. And when you have gut issues, it can lead to other sex hormone issues. Another thing that having that increased cortisol can play into negatively is our mental health. So we can be a lot more agitated, on edge, we're just not happy at all, or really a joy to be around. So as you can see, recovery is so important, not just for our mental health, but also our physical health, our sex hormone health, just overall health. And if you're trying to make progress, regardless of what your goal is, you got to remember the number one rule. It's all about how hard can you recover. Our bodies, I'm sorry to break it to some of you guys, they're not machines. Our body is always going to win at the end of the day, because our body, if it's not getting the proper recovery it needs, it has the defense mechanisms where we're going to adapt to our current situation. And within doing so, our body is going to downregulate functions or systems within our body to protect itself. So that's why the body is always going to win. So if your team no days off, get off that team. You need days off from training. You need days off just to rest and relax and drive cortisol down. And plus, you'll probably notice a more positive outcome when it comes to making progress. Another thing is too, consider deloads, consider, diet breaks, consider refeed days. If you're someone who you've been going hard for a while, even consider taking a week off from the gym. It's not going to kill you. It's only going to help fix this and also allow progress to start coming, especially if that's something that you tend to be struggling with.